the third brain target of learning design, curriculum design, you wouldn't leave your house for a 9-month road trip without a map or some idea of what you wanted to see and do on your trip. So when I start a new unit of study in my class, I don't want to expect my students to know where we're going. I need to show them. And so I create these very visual curriculum designs, these learning maps, these concept webs. And I, for a barely in-service teacher, a new teacher, I could not stress enough what a valuable tool that is for their instructional methods and also for the kids to know where are we going. You know, it's the teacher's like a bus driver, and the kids need to know that they're in good hands with that bus driver. And it also makes a really wonderful checklist tool as you're going through, you know, to say, okay, what have we learned? What have we learned? It's a really good assessment as you're going through. And then once you've done all that work, it makes the day-to-day teaching strategies more natural, and there's much more of a flow in the class, and there's so much more discovery that can happen. You know, I'm a very divergent educator. I digress when things interest my kids or interest me, but knowing that I've got this map to come back to is so valuable. And it seems like a simplistic tool, but it's very sophisticated and it has profoundly affected my teaching. And I know that when I coach younger teachers or teachers who are feeling kind of stuck, I say, use this tool. It's really, really great.
It's just good teaching. It's what you really do every day. We sit down with our teams once a week and plan where are we going for the next week, what lessons do we need to get there, what activities can we do to get us there. That's really what a brain-targeted teaching unit is. You start with that overall picture. Okay, my kids need to learn this. So that's kind of where I start. I figure out what I want them to learn and kind of what materials I can use to do that and go from there. Recently, in the past couple of years, it grows each year I do it, and it's a unit I'm doing right now that I'm very passionate about. We do Little House in the Big Woods, the Laura Ingalls Wilder series, and you know, the first thing the boys always hear, oh, Laura Ingalls, and they think Little House on the Prairie, and it's a girl's book. The boys love it every year because we incorporate a lot of different activities into it, a lot of the historical perspective. But we know going into it we want to do a novel. We want to vary from, we use direct instruction and reading, and we want to vary from that. We take a break to do novel challenges some years, so it's a little bit different. But we know we need to incorporate the vocabulary and still use the same type of reading program that we do. So we start with the overall picture, novel, and which one we're going to do. Then we go to, all right, how are we going to accomplish still getting in our skills we need? What skills do we have to cover for testing, for, you know, to get VSCs, our voluntary state curriculum standards, in for third grade? So we pick those that we're going to do and kind of branch out from there. Okay, how do we hit those ideas? Okay, we need to do main idea, we need to summarize, absolutely, but we want this to be fun. You know, we don't get to expand every day in our normal everyday reading, so we want this to be something fun that they're going to get more out of. So then you kind of expand it a little farther. How are you going to emotionally connect to them? How can we change our physical environment to affect them? How can we make them feel like they're back in the 1870s? So it's really getting those deep thoughts in there. And then throwing in the arts integration as well. We have a fiddler coming in who plays Arkansas Traveler and a lot of the older fiddle songs that the kids dance to, or the families dance to in Little House in the Big Woods. We have somebody come in and teach them square dancing, so they get to learn that. My mom sends down every year maple sugar candies, because I can't ever get them around here at the right time, and they have a sugaring factory there at home, so she sends those down for me so the kids can try them at the same time the kids do in the book. We do, to kind of get them connected, have them bring in an old recipe that's from their family. So I say, bring in your favorite family recipe and bring in what your favorite food recipe is to eat now, even if it's mac and cheese, you know, out of a box. So they bring them in and we talk about it, And we end up making a then and now cookbook, because a lot of things they do in the book involve eating. A lot of things then involve family and cooking and eating, and the book talks a lot about both of those and activities they did. We played bladder ball with obviously not a bladder, but that's what the kids had to play with in those days. So we, hook in the kinesthetic learners there. They learn more about, different music, different games, different activities. But we still do summarizing a chapter, finding the main idea of a chapter, because we can't let those go either. But there are ways you can take all of the standards you have to hit and make it something bigger. But you start with that big picture, and then you go from there and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to get my curriculum in, and what do I need to do to hook my kids?